Good afternoon, friends. Happy Friday. Welcome to your weekly leadership report. We're discussing today the law of stillness, which interestingly has to be realized as opposed to learned. Um, you may sign up for the leadership report at www.rogerckelleygroup.com/blog. And there you can sign up as well as leave your thoughts, and I can respond. I will respond to it immediately. That being said, let's get to the report this week. The leadership report, the law of stillness. Several years ago, while in the Colorado Rockies with dear friends concluding a ministry trip, we drove up the mountain to Lake Dillon. It was pristine, beautiful, and my heart was so moved, I was literally speechless. We also stopped at Echo Lake at a higher altitude with a view of the lake sitting in the top of mountains and the view of mountains around it. The sight was stunning. And again, I was speechless. We got up to Juniper Pass and left the vehicles and climbed up to a ledge with a small wall in parentheses and looked down and could see for miles. The air was cold and fresh. We saw eagles flying several miles below us. And I had never been so high on the earth in all my life. Not only was I speechless, but I was also in tears um, because I was so moved. In parentheses, I said to the guys, it's the wind generating the tears, but it wasn't. They were in tears too, LOL, in parentheses. On this trip, my mind was cleared and I was experiencing the law of stillness. I realized later that the stillness wasn't on the lakes or in the mountain, on the mountaintop. It was in me. Consider this, the law of stillness. The law of stillness points to a reality that is rarely understood. There is a ubiquitous space, place, and dimension of tranquility, rest, and peace constantly existing everywhere in life. It is within us, around us, and is the foundation of life itself. We just don't know it. The law of stillness is not grasped through our intellect, but it can only be experienced beneath the surface of the distractions of life. I discovered that when I relax and focus on my breathing, there it is. What I experienced in the Colorado Rockies was simply a signpost of what's been with me my whole life. Next, the law of stillness is not for reclusion, but for living fully. Think of this. It's not the notes that make the music, it's the rest or the quiet space from which they appear and retreat to. It isn't the painting on the canvas of the artist, but the space on the canvas that creates the pictures. When you work from rest instead of stress, you get a lot more done. Writers, artists, musicians, and other creators operate from stillness and not from their heads. Otherwise, how could they create something they had no knowledge of previously? Lastly, you can never reach your potential, have thriving relationships, successful families, and live a fulfilled and happy life unless you are cooperating with the law of stillness. This is a gift that you were created with. If you want details on how stillness works, there are exercises in my electronic manual, The Eight Pillars of Lifetime Sanity, which can be downloaded immediately at www.rogerckelleygroup.com/store. This law will be pivotal for the next few laws we discuss. Have a great week, Roger.